Hey folks, it's that time, week 4 review. This week isn't as exciting. Because, as you all know, I picked that Apple load up last week, delivered it Wednesday of this week, and I had no revenue this week, only expenses. So what that means is my settlement came in at negative $3,700. I knew it would. You know, I delivered that load Wednesday. There weren't any loads worth running that I could have picked up. I mean, every single load that I would have went and picked up and ran would have cost me money to run. So I would have been worse off. So, Thursday, my dispatcher got me a load, paid $800, picked up at the port in Baltimore, and I brought that out to Ohio, somewhere down near Worcester. So, not terrible, you know, $800. It paid a good RPM, but $800 was not going to affect my settlement. You know, like I said, I came in negative $3,700. I had a very long talk with my dispatcher on Wednesday about how dispatching, you know, was going to work from here on out. And I told her we are no longer rushing around on Thursday to pick a load up for the weekend. I said we are going to run my weeks Friday to Thursday. I said, if I haven't made my money by Thursday, we're not going to rush to pick a load up to try to make the week look good. We're just not doing it. If you have me booked on a load, if I'm paying fuel on a load, I want that load on that settlement with that fuel. The only caveat to that is if I deliver a load Friday morning, it'll be flagged on my Thursday, you know, settlement, but that's okay because I will have all my fuel for that load paid for. You know, I track everything religiously. This week came in at a loss. I knew it was going to come in at a loss. There's no two ways around it. On top of that, yesterday I went because today's Saturday, so Friday morning, before I delivered that lumber load, I went to Salon, Ohio to Mighty, and I picked myself up 2 B-tarps and 30 24-inch corner protectors. And I'll go over the price of that later on in the video. You'll see everything that I'm talking about now, I will talk about again later in the video in a segment. But I got my B-tarps, the 30 24-inch edge protectors, and as I was on my way, after picking those up, I was on my way to deliver the lumber load. My dispatcher calls me up because she's trying to get me out to North Dakota. And she calls me up and she says, hey, I got a load that picks up in Youngstown, Ohio, goes out to North Dakota. Pay is $4,000. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. And she goes, but there's a problem. And I said, okay. She goes, do you have 4 pipe stakes? I said, yes, I do. Do you have this number of straps? Yes, I do. Do you have a headache rack? No, I don't. Well, we need a headache rack to haul the load. And I said, well, for $4,000, I said, as long as FinTech pays for it, I said, I will leave the lumber delivery. I will go right back to Salon, Ohio. Saturday morning, I will walk in there and I will buy a headache rack and I will have it installed this weekend. So we can book that load. And she said, are you sure? Because they're not cheap. And they're not. And I said, yeah. I said, for a load like that, let's do it. So I delivered the lumber load. She booked this load leaving out of Youngstown, Ohio. And I got a headache rack. along with the headache rack. It's actually, my top bunk looks kind of messy. You can see the edge protectors there, but that silver thing that you should be able to see up there, that's a tarp tray. That goes on top of my headache rack. It bolts to the top of my headache rack to store my tarps in. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get one of those. So I got the headache rack, the tarp tray, the mounting kit for the headache rack, and I picked up 5 extra straps. Again, I'll go over all that later. And I decided to myself, you know, I'm not gonna bother fighting to find somebody to install this. It's like, I'm gonna ask these nice folks at Mighty if they will use the forklift and lift the headache rack up onto the frame of the truck. If I can get it up onto the frame, I can mount it myself. I mean, the thing only weighs 220 pounds, but I'm no muscle man. You know, something that size, that weight, there's no way I was gonna pick it up and put it on the frame by hand. So the delivery, or the dock workers in at Mighty were like, yeah, we can do that for you. And they said, just understand that if anything happens, you know, any damage or anything. I said, oh no, I said, I'm not gonna throw you guys under the bus. I said, I take full responsibility. If anything happens, I take full responsibility. Nothing happened. So we got it set up on the back of the truck, and you guys will see it later. And yeah, for about 2 hours I was muscling it around, centering it up, putting it where I wanted it, and then cranking the bolts down with my 10-inch adjustable wrench. That's like the going joke now, is I've got a 10-inch adjustable wrench and a bad attitude. So got it mounted, got the bolts cranked down, and then I wanted to slide my fifth wheel back just to give myself a little extra clearance on the nose of the trailer when I'm making sharper turns and my airlines. Well, my truck is an old Crete truck. It's a 2022, so it's not quote unquote old, but it was a Crete fleet truck that got sold at an auction probably. And so yeah, so my truck came from Crete Carrier originally. Well, Crete does this stupid thing where they put these fifth wheel slide blocks in. So you can't slide your fifth wheel. You cannot adjust your fifth wheel on a Crete truck. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I got to looking at everything. I said, you know what? Fuck this. Because I didn't have the tool, the proper size Allen to get it out, and it was all rusted anyways. So I was like, you know what? I got something that'll fix this. I grabbed my grinder. Spent about 3 minutes. Ground off the locking pins that were just basically threaded Allen bolts. They didn't bolt into anything, they just screwed into the stopper, and it was to keep the stopper from sliding towards the inside of the truck. And these stopper plates are flared. They're kind of flared like that, and that keeps them from wiggling out. So I cut the bolt heads off, I knocked them things out of there, and I'm like, yeah. Now I only took the back ones off because I wanted to slide my fifth wheel back. And I'm like, these fifth wheels, sliding fifth wheels, come with factory stop blocks, so you can't, you know, you can only slide them back so far to begin with. There's no need to lock them in place. So I knocked those things out, and I was able to slide my fifth wheel back 2 holes. Is that going to affect my weight distribution? No, because that's about 500 to 700 pounds that it shifts. It's about 250 to 300 pounds per hole, so 500 to 600 pounds. Well, I put my headache rack on the back, that's 218 pounds, and then I put all my chains, binders, straps, all that shit in there. So I'm probably breaking even on, you know, my weight distribution. But anyways, so I got that all taken care of. I was like, okay, well, got this all taken care of. I'm going to go over here to Girard, Ohio. I parked at the Pilot. And got fuel, got backed in, and I'm like, I need a shower, but I'm on my 34. Why take a shower if I got other sweaty stuff to do? So I went out there. It was still daylight, and you'll see it later in the video. I took all of my chains, all of my binders, all of my straps out of my tarp box on the trailer, along with my edge protectors and my steel edge protectors. I put all that stuff in the headache rack. Finally sat down and got all my bungees organized too, you know, so it's all nice and neat. So yeah, got all that done. Then I sat in the truck and kind of just like for a little bit. I went inside, grabbed some PJ Fresh pizza, some Mountain Dew. Then I went and got a real nice shower, and I gotta tell you, it is something else walking into a shower room one ethnicity and walking out another. I didn't say that out loud. But yeah, so this week didn't make any money. There was a bug in the computer system. They said my $1,000 guarantee, weekly guarantee, should be deposited on Monday, because I am due that. And that happened to a couple of drivers, so it wasn't just like, oh, they're dicking you over. No, this happened to a couple drivers. There was a bug in the system. The finance team was in the office late getting it sorted on Friday. So, you know, they took it seriously and they got it fixed. Now this coming week, like I said, I'm hauling a load of pipe out of Youngstown, Ohio. I think my phone's dead. I'm going up to North Dakota, and then from there I'm going to be deadheading about 260 miles, which is quite a bit, but there is a thing over here at Billor. If you deadhead more than 150 miles, now I don't know if it's on this specific load that I'm doing following the pipe, but I'm going to be getting paid $1 a mile to deadhead that 260 miles. The follow-up load is the reason I needed the bee tarps, because I am, as of now, going to be picking a load of bees up out of North Dakota and running them down into northern Cali. Do I want to go into California? No, I don't. But again, we're gonna see how everything falls. I'm gonna do this North Dakota and then North Dakota to Cali, and then my dispatcher's gonna look for a Cali load going up to Oregon or Washington, and then she's gonna bring me back east. And I also told her that, you know, I want regional runs. If the run's over 1,000 miles, I really don't want it, because you don't make money on them. You know, I'm running a 1,450 mile, it's 1,450 miles to go from Youngstown to North Dakota, to where I'm delivering in North Dakota. I'm getting paid $4 grand for that. That's $280 a mile. Then for the bees, I'm going to be making like, I'm going to be getting like $260, $270 a mile to run the bees. It just pays better. The shorter runs pay better. You know, like a run that takes 2 days will pay better than a run that takes 5. It's just the way that it works out. So that's what I got going on. Again, I'm not upset about my settlement. Well, I am upset about my settlement because I knew it was going to happen. That Apple load, I knew I was going to come in on the negative because of the way they do payroll. But instead of flipping out, instead of losing my cool, instead of acting like a petulant child, I sat down with my dispatcher, well, messaging on my dispatcher, and I calmly explained to her, look, this is why I'm in the negative this week. This is what happened. This is what we're going to do to fix it. This is what I need to have happen. You know, I told her, you know what I want my truck gross to be every week, you know, no less than $7,000. I want closer to 8 or 9, but $7,000 is acceptable. And she said, well, how do you want to accomplish this? I said, and that's when I told her, we're no longer going to rush around on Thursday to try to get loaded by 6 o'clock. We just ain't doing it. If we're going to start my week on Fridays, that way you can get me a weekend load. I can get loaded up and run the weekend, and you ain't got to worry about me on the weekend unless something catastrophic happens. And, you know, I'll deliver that weekend load Monday morning. We'll pick up, and then we'll run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know, if you want to load me on Thursday before 6 o'clock, the load's got to deliver Friday morning. You know, it's got to be something short that I can pick up, run it, deliver it, and then get started on my weekend runs. So this week, we're shaping up to be about $8,500 gross. Is that really going to help me? We'll see. You know, I got a couple options to get out of this hole that'll make it easier to get out of this hole. But I got to talk to, you know, my dispatcher and I are going to talk about that on Monday. We're dealing with one problem at a time, getting the headache rack, getting my $1,000 guarantee issue fixed. And now Monday we're going to deal with the $3,700 negative. So, you know, right now I'm in the hole about $3,400 in Fintex, but that's already, it's going to cost me like $300 a week for my Fintex. It's for my tire chains, my B-tarps and protectors, and then the headache rack and stuff for the headache rack. So yeah, that's my week 4 review. Again, I'm happy over here. You know, how many people can say, yeah, I got a $3,700 negative in the settlement? I'm happy. You know, things over here are being taken care of. There's options. They will work with you. Your dispatcher will work with you. If you communicate good with your dispatcher, you act like a professional, you know, act like a business person because you're running a business and not a petulant child, things will happen. It's the long and the short of it. Lease purchase is not for everybody. Lease purchase is hard. It's hard work. It is high risk, high reward. But if you don't come into it with the I'm a business owner mentality, don't come into it. Because you're going to have good weeks. You're going to have really good weeks. And then you're going to have weeks like I had this week. Now, I ain't happy about it, but I'm also not flipping out about it because I understand. I understand how it happened. I understand why it happened. And I took corrective steps by communicating with my dispatcher to make sure it doesn't happen again. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video. It will be what little footage I did get from this week because I was really busy. So we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Diesel breath. Trades burn the asphalt under blood red sky. Steel fury rolling, shadows in his wake. A trucker's rage, the ground starts to quake. The storm he drives is the storm he makes. Steel fury rolling, something's bound to break. Steel fury rolling, shadows in his wake. A trucker's rage, the ground starts to quake. The storm he drives is the storm he makes. Steel fury rolling, something's bound to break.
Boom. Alright, come on, girls. I'll stop for my half-hour break and a load check. So, may as well let the girls run for a little bit. Minnesota's got a slight chill to the air today. I mean, the sun's bright as hell, but it's not totally warm. Winter is upon us, or soon will be. It's a lovely load of apples. Took my 34 out in North Dakota, just on the west side of Bismarck. At least I think that was where it was at. It was a Flying J out there. I was gonna run yesterday and take my 34 today into, was gonna run yesterday and take my 34 today into tomorrow. But when I woke up yesterday, the wind was freaking whipping out there in North Dakota, so I said, I'm not even gonna bother with it. I'll just take my 34 and run in today. So I'm running today and tomorrow, get this load delivered Wednesday morning, and then we'll see what we got going on for the rest of the week, because so far, Raven, get over here. So far, I haven't made any money this week. I've spent everything in fuel plus my fixed costs, because I was paid for this load on last week's check. So yeah, as of right now on Monday, we're not looking too good, but I still got Wednesday and Thursday to pick up and deliver pick up and deliver a load and pick up a second load for the weekend to get on this check yet. So we'll see how that goes. My girls are crazy. Love them to death, but they're crazy. Raven, what are you doing? Hi, Athena. Oh, there's Athena. It's a rough and tumble life. Anyways, guys, I'll get at you on the next one. We'll talk at you later.
Teeth flash, claws scratch, they where a shadow lay. Petals bleed, crimson decay. Descending shadows, losing my name. He struck the match, I'm feeding the flame. Sanity crumbles, a puppet game. Descending shadows. I'm not the same. I'm not the same. Cages of silence, bars made of lies. Fed me as poison, dressed in disguise. Threads unravel, my mind's a maze. Labyrinth thoughts lost in the haze. His hands carve the path, cold as stone. Now I'm the queen of a broken throne. Drums pounding, heartbeat gone rogue. Strings snapping, unraveling code. He built the stage, I'm stealing the show. Descending shadows, deeper I go. Descending shadows, losing my name. He struck the match, I'm feeding the flame. Sanity crumbles, a puppet game. Descending shadows. I'm not the same. I'm not the same. I'm not the same. Descending shadows. Descending shadows, losing my name. He struck the match, I'm feeding the flame. Sanity crumbles, a puppet game. Descending shadows. I'm not the same. I'm not the same. I'm not the same.
All right, people. What you just saw was me completely reorganizing my shit. So I got my headache rack today. I'll flip it around here and show it to you. I got all my chains right there. Rest of my chains and my bungees right there. The inner door, strap, edge protectors. Now I gotta get the edge protectors out of the truck. I think my 24 inchers might actually fit in this box, but I don't know. So let's keep going here. Problem with this thing is I lost part of my I could probably put some of that dunnage back there. Anyways, I lost part of my use of my steps. I lost my catwalk. Now, set you guys here for a minute. I gotta fix this shit. Okay, so down here, I had to get bee nets because my next load is bees. So I got 2 bee nets that'll cover my 53-foot trailer, my coil racks, and my catwalks. I didn't throw my catwalks away. I just can't use them anymore. And that's it. I must say, she looks a hell of a lot better. A hell of a lot better. Now, I do want to eventually get all of my man, I need a shower. I do eventually want to get all of my dunnage put down under the trailer again. I think that'll be for the best, is to get it under there, you know, but not right now. Monday morning, I'm on a 34 at the Pilot here in Girard. Filled up with fuel and decided take tonight, get my saddle box here emptied out and reorganized, which it needed it desperately. I know you guys saw it in some of the videos. It desperately needed it. And get my my headache rack filled up. And about that headache rack, that was fun. I did that myself. So I bought that in at Mighty at Salon, Ohio, and it cost my total for the day was 20. It's like 24 something. 24.66. So what that got me was 5 more straps, because I only had 15 straps. I was running low on some straps. You know, I don't mind over securing, but I don't want to under secure, and I was securing it just barely over half aggregate. So I got more straps so that I could fix that problem. So I got the headache rack, which retailed with tax for $21.29, well, $21.30. I got a top mount tarp tray for cab racks. So it's a 60-inch, it is a 60-inch tray that I bolt to the very top of my cab rack. And what that does is, when I get that up there and I get my tarps rolled up, instead of strapping my tarps to my trailer, I put them in that rack, and I just put a bungee, you know, 2 or 3 bungees over top, and it holds it on my headache rack. Again, frees up my deck. That was $193. And then I got the cab rack install kit, which is 2 pieces of rubber about 1/4 of an inch thick to the width of the feet on the cab rack, and 4 U-bolts, 2 washers, 2 lock washer, or yeah, 8 washers, 4 U-bolts, 8 washers, 8 lock washers, and 8 bolts. That retailed with tax for $83.06. My straps, I got 5 of them, and that ended up costing me $61.20. So that was today's bill at Might. Yesterday, because I had to get those bee tarps, the bee nets that you just saw, that bill was $986.91. I got 2 27-foot by 28-foot bee hauling tarps, bee nets, for a total of $773.17 after tax. And then I got 30 24-inch plastic corner protectors for the hives, because that's what I'm going to be hauling is hives. $213.74. Now, some of you may be asking, will I get reimbursed for this? No. No. I'll pay for it out of my paycheck or out of my settlement, and it'll be mine. So if I ever do leave Billor, all of my all of my securement stuff, my straps, chains, binders, bungees, tarps, B-nets, my 30 little blue plastic edge protectors, corner protectors, my 30 24-inch edge protectors, my 30, is it 30 or is it 20 steel edge protectors. Like if I'm hauling steel coils, I have to put those in with the chains. And then I've got 10 coil racks that all go with me along with my dunnage. So that was what you just saw here in the parking lot of Pilot. But hey, like I said, look at how nice that looks. I gotta put that away. Eventually I will get a custom catwalk made for in here. And if anybody's wondering about this, for whatever reason on this trailer, my service air brake line likes to lift up. Doesn't come disconnected, but it likes to lift up. And then the other thing I did today was this is a used Crete truck, and Crete puts these lovely little things in here, and they are fifth wheel slide locks, which there's a factory one there and there's a factory one here. Well, there was one of those slide locks right here, and I wanted to slide my fifth wheel back from this hole to this hole, so I did. I spent 5 minutes with a grinder, and I got rid of the slide. Works for me. But anyways, catch you guys on the next one.